welcome to Tech of the Day. We are going to talk about Azure boards, and we just talked about different methodologies, why we should go with Agile or Scrum, and why not with the Waterfall. And then I just gave you recap of what is a Scrum methodology, and that is not something I didn't put the video in detail, but just to give you a review, it's good to watch. If you want to watch that video, you can go to the previous video than this in this playlist, or you can find it in the playlist, or I will put the link up there. I'll put a link here. Okay, so let's get started. We're gonna have hands-on Azure boards. So let's go. I have this organization, and I just signed myself for free on Azure DevOps, and I come here and it gives me. I just signed up for free version. You can also do that. You just have to go Azure DevOps, and then it's easy. Just sign up for free. It will ask you for your email address and mobile phones to verification to verify, and then you have this board. And I don't have any Azure subscription yet for this project, and nothing. It's only Azure DevOps. I just started for free, and I arrive here, and it gives me by default it created a tech of the day by NK. This organization, I can add more organizations here. um, you see, it is just giving me the name of the organization where I want to host my organization. um, and yeah, just some YQQ35S3 G. Oh, J is also there. 35 J. Let's go if it's correct. It wasn't correct. Anyway, P K M 6 V V Q W M P. And then it will take me to the organization I just created. So it is just so you see I have two organizations now. What is an organization? An organization is simply actually it's at company level, but at company level your company can have different departments, like say HR department, whatever. You have many departments in your company, and then those departments, they can host their own organization. So basically it's a simple group of projects. So just because of that, it is of asking me to create a new project, and I will say AZ-400 is the name of the project, and I'll just give some description. This project is to uh, I'm not a German, but I don't know why I put all words together. This project is to explain concepts of Azure DevOps simply. And then you have this public or private. Um, eh, what type of organization you want to create? Of course, you want to create private organization, otherwise anyone can have access to it. And in the advanced section, you also have this option to say the version control. What is the version control for your for your projects. So you see it gives me option by default with Git, and you can also have team foundation version control, which we used to have before Azure DevOps. So like before that we had within Visual Studio we had a team foundation version control to have version control for your code. What is the difference between the two? That's a question related to the exam, and because simply team foundation version control is centralized organization. That means Git is decentralized organization. You understand? So um, TFS, Team Foundation Version Control, is a centralized organization, and Git is a decentralized organization. Simply, so with the help of Git, you can simply keep having multiple branches and keep changing your code, and then integrate it to a main branch. Whereas with Team Foundation Version Control, you have centrally organized code, and then if you want to change that code, you have to check out the code and then modify it, and then you have to check in. That means you do so if you remember, you used to check out a particular file, you change that file, you check in there's that file. You could check out multiple files at the same time, and then you could just check in that file. But that was a bit difficult process, because then to work in a dev team, it was a bit difficult to work on the same files together. So yeah, that was the version control. And then you have work item processes. So this is basically what methodology you are using. Either if you are using Agile, if you are using Basic, you are using CMMI, and you are using Scrum. So to explain you, I just explained you in the previous video about Agile and Scrum. So what does Agile methodology has, and what does Scrum methodology has? Agile methodology and Scrum methodology. I will just uh, have here work item. So here you have these different work items. Let me zoom in. So you see you have basic, and then you have agile, you have scrum, you have CMMI. So with basic you just have an epic, issue, and task. With the epic you put it in the portfolio backlog and product backlog, issue, and then your task. So simply you divide it in a in these three things. In the agile methodology, you create a portfolio backlog where you put your epic and features, and then you have a backlog where you put your user stories, and user stories contains tasks. You also have bugs which can be divided into tasks. And then for the issues, for issue and tracking, you create issues. So that's simple implementation of agile methodology. But with the scrum, help of the scrum, you have the same thing, but with two things different. Like user story, in agile you call it user story, and in scrum you call it product backlog items. And for issue tracking you have issues, and you for scrum you have issue tracking, for you have impediments. So you will have a question about this in your exam for certain. I'm sure you will have it. So you need to know exactly what does basic method has, what does agile has, and scrum has, and what's the difference between the two, and what does CMMI has. You might have exact question in your exam. And the only difference with CMMI is then you have a requirement. this part is same, but this part, this changes to requirements. And issue change and risk management, it changes to change request, review, issue and risk. Four different tasks. Here you had only one, issue and bug tracking, issue tracking, so that was called impediments. And here you have change request, review, issue, risk. So you have four different topics. So that was simply differentiation between the four available work item processes: basic, agile, scrum and CMMI. So if you select basic, you will get only three things. Let's just create it and then you will see. So you have this, and you see with in the basic, if you go to board, this is your Azure board. And in the board, if you want to create a new work item, you only have three things: epic, issue and task. You see here, epic, issue and task. So you have only three work items. Whereas if you create a new project, AZ-400, and the name, let's say we create a scrum project. I'm just adding this to differentiate, and here I can select scrum, and I keep the version control, git create. It will take some time. And here I have another project which is AZ-400 scrum, and if I go to Azure boards, I should have more options now. You see, to create a new work item, I have bug, epic, feature, impediments, product backlog item, task and test cases. So I have many more options. Ye- I have already explained these work item types, but I will explain again. If I just create another project based on agile methodology, then instead of product backlog item, I will have user story. So if you see the difference here, instead of product backlog item, I will have user story, and instead of impediment, I will have issue. So here to create an error, oh, sorry, an issue, I have impediment, whereas with agile I will have issue. So I can just simply create a type of issue here, and we'll talk about it a bit later. So that's a different type of options you have in your project design. And then you come to then let's continue with the boards. So with the Azure board, we are in the Scrum project, and now we can continue. We have different things. First thing is work items. If you want to create any work item here, so let's say I want to create a product backlog item. I just created product backlog item one, just name it, but I'm just creating it. So and then I just save it. So if I go back to product work items, I have this product backlog item, and this is unassigned, so because I didn't assign to anyone. And um, it just gives me other information like activity date, ATA, which product it is related to, state, what is the state, if it's changed. And then if I want to change anything in this product backlog item, I can just go here, and I can change the state from let's say um, I am the product owner now, so I'm just creating these items. I create another item same way, and I can just simply create another work product backlog item, PBI PBI2, and just save. And same way I can create another bug, bug one, and then I just go back. So here I have three work items, and then I'm done with my backlog definitions. Sorry, I have added, let's say here I'm a product owner, so I should add description, acceptance criteria, like product. As a user, I want to see the product backlog feature one in the product. And you can add some testing acceptance criteria, so you can add some acceptance criteria 1, AC2, blah blah. And the same way, so I created same way I can do the same thing for other product backlog items or bugs. And then once I'm done here, and then I call the, so I have one of the, if you remember from the previous video, we talked about different events. So once I'm done with the product backlog items, I can call for the so here again you have refinement. So you can ask the development team to go and look at these items, if their definitions are clear, and if not, then I can provide more answers to their questions. So they can just go here and ask a question in the discussion. What do you mean by AC2? And then okay, I created this because in this project I am the only one in the team, but then I created this question as a development team, and then someone else can go and I can answer this question. So this can go on and on. And then we come to the planning session. So to do the planning session, so I'm here now, and I want to do the planning for my next sprint. I go to all the projects, and what I do once the refinement is done, then I can change the state. So I say this is approved, and I can put one more task. Let's say I put the bug in this sprint, and then I say approved. So simply I just because if everything is clear to the team and everyone agrees on the definitions, and then I can simply say these two items are in the sprint, and then these two items are approved, and then the team will go and um, say, okay, what are the reproduction steps for the for this for this bug, what are the tasks they need. So if simply I go to the sprint, because now we are in the sprint, I need to create a sprint one, and I'm just arriving here. So um, I'm here in the sprint, and I can add a new work item directly from here, and it will give me option like this. So PB3, I have this work item, or I can go to work item, and I can simply go here, because I created this, and I can simply change the iteration, because if I don't put any iteration, by default I am in in the main product backlog items. And if I just change it to this one, that means I put this task in the sprint 1, and now if I go to sprints, I should have these two tasks. So now we are done, and now the planning is started. We want to do some estimation also for these tasks. This becomes approved as well, because we don't we know how much time it is going to take. Now, sorry, the questions are clear, and now we want to estimate these. Um, we want to estimate the um, item. Also, you have these two three things. You have business or architectural, because a task can be, let's say you want to create the base of a project which gives no business value, because of course it is not implementing any feature, but you're just creating a base for a new project. So that means it's architectural task, not the business task. So if you change it to architectural task, and um, then you say what is a priority for this task. Let's say I give it a 1 priority, and then I say it requires efforts of 4, and then business value is 0. So I just save and close. And then I want to so once I do this, I of course do this with the team, development team. As a product owner, I'm just there to still, if they have any question, there to solve their questions if they have any question. Otherwise, the development team is in the lead for this planning session. Then I need to add task for this particular backlog item. Task 1, maybe I need to do more tasks to finish this. I can add a task 2, and so on. So I have these tasks now, and this task is related to this one. And if I go to this task, you see here in the parent, it's connected to backlog item 1. And uh, and the particular task has state, sorry, here in the state it is in the to do now, because I haven't started. And I can put the priority, I can put the activity. Is it a design, development, documentation, requirements, testing, blah blah blah, because you have different type of tasks. So let's say I'm designing the new uh, structure for my application, so I can say it's a designing task. And if I'm blocked or not, then I can say yes or no. But I'm not blocked. I can say how much time is remaining, and I can save and close. So till the planning, I will do only these things. And then I will add one more item here, task 3, and I can add one more, task 4, and like so on. So once I'm done with the planning, and then we come up and say, oh, I haven't assigned it to a user. I only see one user here, but I can add one more, many people. So it depends on who is in my team. I will explain that later, but for now I'll say, okay, I assigned it to myself, and then I can say I can assign it to myself, and I can assign this task to another person if I had other possibilities here, but I'm just assigning it to myself. So you see, and then I know what to do in the sprint, and this task can be assigned to other people, and this task can be assigned to Y, this task can be assigned to another one. So you see, um, then your tasks are really divided into small chunks, and then you are inching towards your sprint goal slowly with the help of these tasks. So I hope you remember the difference now, because Simply the difference was you were developing whole product at once in waterfall, whereas in agile or scrum you divided into small chunks, and then you are inching towards the sprint goal. And that divided chunk, that small portion of the whole product was called was included in the sprint. So now let me if I'm in the sprint, then I can just simply put it here, and the task state is changed to in progress, and once I'm done I can just put it here, you see. So and then I can pick up another task. Maybe this task is assigned to another person, and then starting this task because I think I can do it. So simply you see the difference. Of course, welcome to Azure boards. So here you see uh, these three tasks and three backlog items which were approved for this sprint, and if you go to sprint, I started working on them. So if I just go to board, I should see approved here and number of tasks, and once approved then you can put them in committed. Let's say I started working on this one, so I put it in committed. I can add one more column here which can be in for committed and then for testing, and then if testing passes then it can be in the done. Or you can add one more review, which means like you did this task and it's in review by certain team of developers for pull request. So let's say I go to this task, I am in progress. I had another column here which I will explain how to add. And once you are in progress here, then and you finished your task, you checked in your, let's say you create a branch and you name it feature slash. I follow this logic, but it depends certainly on your organization. So then I put the number of the task 5 dash task 1, simply like this, based on which project, this project, and then select a branch if I have any. So for now I don't have any branch because I just created the project, but I did not add any repo repository. That's why I don't have any. But then once I create it, I will have a repo, and then I will use that repo here, and then I can simply go ahead from there, and then I can create a branch. Once I'm done with the branch, and then it will give me option to create a pull request. So and then I can just create a pull request for certain item, for certain work I have done. I will show you later on once I set up the repo. And that's it for the, so I hope it's clear with everything: backlog, queries, boards, work items, queries. I didn't explain queries, so let's see what is query. So query is simply to filter your work items. So let's say I create a new query. I say work item type is equals to value. I have many different options. So let's say I have a bug and state any, and then I want to run this query, so I will have the bugs. uh, if I select state active and then run it, I have nothing because the bug is not in active. And then I can just simply save this query and enter a name, bugs in active state. So I have my queries saved queries now, and I can use those queries um, anywhere. If I go to my queries, so I have these are by default created by Azure boards, and this is created by me. So I can use this query anywhere in my Azure DevOps. Like I can use it in pipelines, I can use it in test plans, artifacts, I can use in pipelines and other places. I will explain it later. So that's how your Azure boards works. I hope it's clear, and please let me know in comment section what you would like to know more. Thank you, and stay tuned for next topic.